Welcome to the Unshakable Growth. I'm Estee, and let's get started.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Unshakable Growth Podcast. Today's episode is extra special because it's an episode dedicated to Estee's birthday, her big 30th birthday. So, as a special episode, I'll be taking over her podcast, and then I'll be asking her questions about her journey and who she is now, and also a little bit about our friendship. Esty, are you ready?
I am happy for you to take over the podcast as my host for today.
Yes. So, for our new listeners who didn't know you prior to this video, or maybe for people who, didn't know you that well, maybe we can share a little bit further back into your background. So, what's your background? Where are you from? What was your story prior coming to Australia?
All right, so I'm basically originally from Malaysia, born and bred there. I grew up to be very shy and introverted. And so after I finished high school, I studied pastry, and then I worked in Malaysia and Singapore. And then after that, there was one point of my life where I started to felt that my back was really painful. And then also my parents wanted me to study further. So I decided to further study in business in hotel management. So during that period, unfortunately, it was COVID time. I only did like 3 months in China, Suzhou. And then the plan was supposedly to do a twinning program in Australia as well. But just 3 months into the program, COVID happened. And I had to, be transferred back to my hometown and everything had to go online. And then after, I don't know, about 2 years later, we have to go into our industrial placement. So there was time when hotel industry is not really performing well because everyone cannot travel. So it was hard for me to look for a job. And at that point of time, I decided that I wanted to, go into revenue management, which for those who didn't know. So in revenue department for hotels, usually there's only one or maximum two people in this department for the entire hotel, or even some hotels will share, like maybe two or three hotels will share
One team.
one or two revenue
Yeah.
person. So it's a really scarce role in the hotel industry. And I really wanted that role so much because I decided that I don't want to do a customer facing role. So that's how I was like very persistent, calling every hotel that I have in around my hometown. So that was in Penang, Malaysia. So I was
Wow.
like calling every hotel, trying to get this specific role in revenue management. And I'm very lucky that I finally got one hotel that wanted to accept me as an intern in the revenue department. So
That was
that
awesome.
was, yeah, so that was
Mm-hmm.
in Mercure, Penang, and then it's under Accor Hotels. So from there, I started my revenue journey and then worked for 6 months as an intern and then another 6 months as a full-time employee. But after that, I officially graduated from the uni in Australia, and I was entitled to this 2 years post-study visa, where I decided to, make the move um, and further explore opportunities in Australia.
Okay. That's good to hear. And now let's start from how you actually moved to Australia and that which led to how we met. What made you decide to move to Australia? I know you were entitled to the visa,
Yeah.
but like it takes that courage to actually take up the challenge. And you never actually lived here before. You've only visited Australia, right? So what took you to Australia?
Yeah. So I only visited Australia for the first time in May 2022. So that was for my graduation. So, like I mentioned just now, everything was happening online, and I don't really know my classmates even. So, my first time stepping into Australia was my graduation, and then I came here connected with some of the classmates that I knew online and some of the lecturers as well. And all of them were telling me that you should, take the opportunity of you being entitled for working here for 2 years. You should take the opportunity to come over. And it's so much better than other Asian countries because of the work culture.
Yeah.
Work-life balance is a big thing here in Australia.
Yeah.
So when I hear about, those comment and feedback, I was thinking like, should I really make the move? But at the same time, I didn't want to spend my entire time in Malaysia.
Mm.
Um, as mentioned just now, the working culture is not the best. So
Mm.
I was thinking like, okay, maybe I should really, take up this opportunity. So I tried to starting to do my resume, make it pretty, and then start sending out to different hotels in Australia. And then so that was May, and then in July itself, I decided to visit Australia again with
Mm.
the intention to look for a job.
Mm.
So I have my relatives based in Melbourne. So I flew to Melbourne, stay with them for a week. And then I went to different hotels in Melbourne,
Mm.
physically walk in to say that, hey, this is my resume and I would like to, interview for a role that I'm interested in, which is in revenue. And then so, yeah, I went through a few interviews and a lot of hotels were hiring that at that point of time because it's starting to recover from COVID. So that
Mm.
was July 2022. And but not many hotels are offering the role that I wanted. They offered other
Mm.
roles like in reservations or in group reservations. So which
Yeah.
is not quite what I wanted, but I'm so lucky that another hotel in Sydney actually offered this exact role that I always wanted, which is a revenue analyst. And
Mm.
then so I took up the opportunity, and the interview process went on very quickly. I believe, within 3-4 days,
Mhm.
everything's done. Letter is signed, and I'm
Mhm.
ready to, embark on this journey.
That is so
Yeah.
refreshing to hear that you actually went to the hotels physically.
Mm-hmm.
Because like for me, I've never actually really done that before. Like I think I did like once, twice, but
Mm-hmm.
not at the same time. Yeah. And then, after you moved to Sydney, how did you feel when you first moved?
Yeah, for me, first time moving here to Sydney, I literally moved here alone. So there's no
Mm.
family members here in Sydney, and then I kind of don't know anyone as well because a lot of my online classmates, they have took up a lot of the roles in Melbourne instead of
Mm.
Sydney. So I kind of started new, started fresh. So I was thinking like, okay, now that I moved to a new place, a new country, I needed to do something different because nobody knows me. And
Mm.
since young, I always wanted to, learn dancing, but then I was so shy and so introverted back then. I felt like, if I go dancing, people will say that I'm very, I don't know, girly or she just want to be pretty or things like that. But I'm so afraid of those judgment or those opinions that people will
Mm.
might have provide to me if I took take up dancing. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, now is the chance. Nobody
Mm.
knows me, and it's time to do something that I really wanted to do. So I started to learn dancing, and then I'm glad that I did so. And I really found my interest in like jazz, funk, hip hop, and also hip hop.
Mm.
Although I don't do it really well, but yeah, it's a good way for me to explore new hobbies for myself.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you have picked up new hobbies and new interests.
Mhm.
When you moved to a new country alone, did you face any challenges? I know that you came here, like starting super fresh, but it's a country that you were not familiar with. How, what, what did you face? Were you in any struggle of some kind in the
Mm.
beginning?
Yeah, I think I did because like I mentioned just now that I don't have any friends
Mm.
when I first moved here, and when I took up dance class I was thinking like I can make friends there, connect with people that attend to dance class, but then I realized that I'm not sure if it's the culture here, but people that go to classes or even events or workshops, it's only that point of time they connect with each other. They talk to each other as
Mm.
a friend. But then, even though you exchange your contact number, your social media, but then after that, when you go home and you would, want to invite them to hang out for the
Mm.
next time, it's so difficult to get them out.
Mm. Mm.
I'm not sure if that's the culture, or maybe perhaps they have other priorities like their family or work or things like that, which I understand. But I guess at that point of time, I was, desperate for having
Mm.
a friend or having a sense of belonging to this country. But yeah, that didn't went quite well. So I
Mm.
started to, spend more time with myself.
Mm. I guess with classes, like I think some people they join these classes just for the sake of doing that. Some
Mhm.
people don't even want to actually make friends. They just go practice and then go home.
Yeah, that's
So, but I can imagine how lonely you must have felt. I think I'm your first friend in Australia, right? Like the first good friend in Australia.
yes, yes, you are.
Well, for listeners, we actually got to know each other not long after Estee arrived in Sydney and she started working. I remember seeing her being cross-trained in my department. So we work in the same hotel, just different department. But our departments kind of relate to each other. But because she was not seated with me, I was not the one kind of like telling her, teaching her what's going on in the department and what we do there. So we didn't really actually talk much. I only knew your name and your face for I think like a few weeks. And then one day, one night, my manager after work invited me out to have dinner with him, with his colleagues, with our colleagues, and
Mm.
then also with ST. So he told me actually, oh, there's gonna be ST, don't worry. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, I'm not even close with ST. I don't even know her. So I was scared that it was gonna be awkward, which was actually I think it was pretty awkward to me.
It is.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it
but I was
is.
seated next to you,
Yeah,
which was a
because
good
like
thing.
both of our managers, and then they were both like mid 30s, mid 40s, and then we were
Mm-hmm.
like in our mid 20s, so we kind of like having that generation gap. We
Yeah.
can't really fit
And
into the conversation.
yeah, and then I think at the time they were mostly Chinese speakers,
Yeah.
and I'm not Chinese speaker, so I was a little bit quiet during the time. But then
Mhm.
because Essie was sitting next to me, so like I just talked to her, she just talked to me, and we kind of like got to know each other. And during that dinner, I kind of like knew I vibe with her.
Mhm.
So after the dinner, we decided to hang out,
Mhm.
and then we went to grab a cup of boba nearby. And then
Mhm.
since then, we actually became good friends.
Yeah.
And we've done so many things together, so many experiences since we met. In fact, she actually took me to my first camping ever. And I think that was your first camping too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we
That's
went
right.
camping together, two newbies who didn't know what to do, what to bring even. And if you like, you can see the videos on our Instagram, but we were holding so many plastic bags at the time. And anyway, you can see that we've never camped before.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
because it's so funny to see that. So the first camping place that we went was the Cockatoo Island, and then everyone was like, professional camper. They had those camping bags, those sleeping bags, and things like that. But we were in our small little backpack with plastic bags. Yeah, because it's also our first time camping, so we are not sure if camping is our thing. So we decided to go to Cockatoo Island, which they provided the pre-erected tent, so we don't have to buy the gears before knowing whether we are really interested into camping.
but we definitely were not prepared for the cold that night. I was
Yeah,
struggling so much.
yeah. It was I think one day in September. So September is
Mm.
spring here in Australia. So even though the daytime is not too bad, but the morning and the nights are really cold.
Yeah. And then we went to our second camping, third camping. and we've done bushwalking and hikings as well. And yeah, we've done quite a few trips together actually
Yeah.
until I moved to Brisbane. So I
Yeah.
moved to Brisbane, I think end of last year, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's a
since
shame.
then, yeah, I haven't been able to catch up with you that often, but we still do like every few months, I think we catch up
Yeah.
every couple months.
Yeah.
And honestly, I still feel so close to you. And when I see you, I don't feel like anything changed, like I never left. And you also visited me in Brisbane for my birthday week back in April.
Yeah.
And well, we've done things as well at the
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
And after knowing you for over 2 years now, I know that you've been through a lot, uh, be it professionally or personally. I think I've seen your ups and downs throughout these 2 years. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
you at your rock bottom. You know, you kind of crumbled and broke down and cried in front of me, which I appreciated. I felt really close to you whenever that happens.
A few times.
But I always, I saw you wipe your own tears and got back up, which I really, admire that from you. Coincidentally, now that we are at the year's end, we actually have this inside joke between me and Estee. It's about her year end's relationship curse. The last 2 years that I've known her, somehow she's always had a heartbreak at this time of the year, like the 2 years that I knew her. Maybe St, would you like to share a little bit about this?
Well, definitely, if it interests you and the audience. So, well, my first year in Australia, I had a breakup due to long distance. So, remember when I first moved here was in August 2022. So, within like 4 months or so, me and my ex started have to have a different point of view on where to settle down in the future. So just moved here to Australia and I'm starting to liking it. And at that point of time, he was working in Singapore, which is where we knew each other. And then he he was planning to move back to China a few years later, and I was liking this country so much, and I wanted to stay here and even bring him over, but then due to language barrier, it was not possible. So it was a really tough breakup back then because it's not that we don't have feelings for each other, but due to the circumstances and what we wanted for the future, the directions are already different. We went to different paths, so we had to let each other go.
At the time, I was busy with other things. I remember that very clearly because I had no idea what was happening to you because I didn't even see you for like a few weeks until the year's end. And then I remember we finally made time to hang out, and we were hanging out near the harbor bridge at night. We were just like walking around talking, and you told me about that story, and then you cried, and then we just like
First
like
time
at night, quiet, two girls just hugging to each other until you
under
calmed
the
down.
harbor bridge.
Yeah, and yeah, it must have been really hard on you having to part with someone while you still love them. And I think the audience would like to hear how you cope with that. How did you get over the heartbreak?
Well, I guess after the breakup happened, I tried to occupy myself with different kinds of activity, and that's when I started to pick up dance class and then exploring the weekend market on my own. Realized that there are so many things that I can actually do, but I've never tried before, and those things actually interest me. And I think shifting my focus to expand my hobbies and allow me to get to know myself better actually distracts me from thinking about the breakup. So it takes time. It takes time to heal, but I think the main focus is to make sure that you do things to help yourself to get back on track.
Awesome, you. Well, a few months after that, you started talking to this other guy who, again, you had a long distance relationship with. You know, I think I was a witness to the whole situation as well with this guy, with this new guy. And I think you did so much for him, you know, in many different ways also. And I admire you for enduring a 16th century 16th century like dating style, because at the time, you know, like nowadays we have phones, we have all these chatting apps at our fingertips. You can easily contact anyone at any time, but you had to send him an electronic letter that contained all your day happenings and your feelings. And I just kind of I felt sad that you only received a reply maybe like on the next business days or when you were asleep. And yeah, you know, I know how hard it was for you, but you kind of like got used to it, which was sad.
I find
What do
it
you think?
funny. I find it so funny how you describe them.
It's like you're
So
sending each other letters with a bird.
yeah, so basically, he's actually working night shifts. So I work 9 to 5, and then so we kind of consider to have this time difference and also distance difference as well,
Mm,
because we are not in the same city.
mm,
So communication become very difficult and a lot of delayed responses to my sharing, and the excitement and emotions that I shared will fade after like more than 12 hours after the message has been sent out and I receive the reply, like what you say, in the next business day. So it's like,
yeah.
it's not at the moment, it's not present, it's been delayed. So those communication and the emotions sharing and everything, it's all been delayed.
I genuinely applaud your patience and how you endured that for how long was it? More than a
And
year,
then,
maybe?
no,
A
less
little
than a
bit.
year, about 9 to 10 months.
9 to 10 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can do the same because long distance relationship is really hard as it is, which I'm experiencing right now too. And I feel like little to almost no communication that is regular or constant would be too hard to bear. What do
Yeah,
you think?
that's why this lack of communication, it has been lasted for about 9 to 10 months, like I said. So which then it actually deteriorates the relationship.
How did the relationship came to an end?
So it ended because he initiated a breakup due to a lot of constant misunderstanding between both of us. I was in a denial in the first few months, but seeing how fast he has moved on to a new relationship, I realized that I need to remove myself from the situation. It took me quite a few months, I would say, but it this relationship or this this journey has taught me so much and the importance about communication, both verbal and non-verbal. Like no matter if it's like speaking to him in person or through video call or through phone or just a text message, it's all really important in these everyday lives. So communication, I would say, is a two-way street in a relationship, no matter if it's a personal relationship or a professional relationship. So both parties, they must have a common understanding towards the direction you would like to move towards. So again, just recovering from the heartbreak, I started to make myself busy again, accepting how it is. So since then, I started to travel more. And this year, I've actually visited quite a few places. So I'm so proud of myself about the achievement that I've gained this year. So I visited Suzhou and Hangzhou in China, and then I hiked Mount Kinabalu in Sabah. So that is in Malaysia, which is the fourth highest mountain in Southeast Asia, and the altitude is about 4,095 meters high. And it did not went easy because I kind of threw up along the way while hiking the mountain, because the hike to the peak of this mountain is about 2 days and one night. So we need to hike from 9 a.m. to about maybe 4 to 5 p.m. to the base camp. And then the next day we started at 2 a.m. and then to reach the peak by, I believe, 7 a.m., something like that. Yeah, so it was not easy for me because I don't usually, do hiking. And just for this hike, I purposely trained on the long staircase
Yeah.
here in Sydney, just to build up my momentum and my stamina. Besides that, I also visited Melbourne and then visited the Aboriginals in Uluru. I also visited Brisbane and Gold Coast, where I visited Yvonne during her birthday week. So that was her 27th birthday.
Yeah.
And we did skydiving together on her birthday itself.
Yeah. I'm actually very scared of heights, so I never thought that I would actually be doing skydiving. I did have that idea even like from the years before. I wanted to skydive on my birthday, but only on that year. I guess you've always been the person who kind of like inspired me to go out. Basically, you just keep inviting me to things,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, I'll just go. I'll just do it. I'll just do it. So we actually jumped from, I think it was 15,000 feet, right?
Yeah.
Up above
15,000 feet
the ground
from the plane.
from the plane, from a moving plane. And honestly, it was so scary. I think once is enough. And yeah, it's unforgettable. I think I just lost a few years from doing that.
But it's a once in a lifetime experience. I think
Yeah,
everyone should try it.
yeah, that's true.
But I'm so proud of you because, like you said, you were scared of heights, but then you're jumping out of this 15,000 moving plane, 15,000 feet moving plane. And you have fully established yourself to be this person that is filled with the mindset of try something new, try new things scared, push boundaries, and step out of your comfort zone. And I guess it's the same for me as well. I really have this fear of public speaking, standing in front of a group of people and sharing my thoughts or opinions. That is really scary. But this June, I did something really special for myself as well. I tried to step out of my comfort zone and took up a public speaking course, which I've seen myself grown so much from there.
Yeah. As someone who's seen your journey along the way from the distance, I can see that you've changed. But actually, for me, maybe because I'm like good friends with you, but I've never seen you as someone who is scared. Like I've never seen you as someone who's shy. But after you took this public speaking course, I think I really did see a lot of changes, positive changes from you. How did you first find out about this speaking course? What did they actually teach you in the program, and what did you learn from there?
Yeah, I guess I was lucky because I saw the ad pop up on my Facebook. So they were having this free public speaking half day course. So I decided to attend the session by myself. And during the half day session, I find it really useful for my professional growth. So I then signed up for their 3 days intensive course, which I learned so much from there. So from day one, we were, forced to stand out in front of almost, I believe it's 30 to 35 people there to share our thoughts and why we are doing this and our story. My voice is so shaky and I have this close body gesture. So it's like, when you put your hands in front of your chest or in front of your
Yeah.
waist, it's like a protective shield in front of the audience. So I can see from day one until day three, I can already like speak confidently and have open gestures in front of a group of this 30 to 35 audience. So after the boot camp, the main takeaway during the boot camp, right, is to make sure that you have to stand up tall and take up space just to show your confidence. And there is a framework that they actually teach us how to articulate our speech and make sure that you keep eye contact with the audience. And after the boot camp, I decided to start to share on my speaking journey, which sees such transformation within that short period of time.
So that's why you started your YouTube channel and also this podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you share why did you choose this topic? Like, I'm just really curious because you chose self-confidence and growth as your topic. But why?
Yeah. I guess throughout this journey, I have seen so much growth in myself, transitioning from a shy and introverted girl with a typical Asian upbringing to the current stage where I'm very comfortable to engage in conversations with strangers and going to networking events alone, and be more confident in speaking up my mind. So I used to be so afraid of how people think of everything that I do, what I wear, what I say, what I do. It was so bad during my high school days. I remember there was this one time where I just finished school. I was wearing this bright blue pinafore from Malaysia's
The
secondary school. If
uniform.
any one of you are interested, you can Google it. You can Google what does it look like. So this bright, awful blue-looking pinafore, I was wearing that, and my dad picked me up from school, and he decided to brought me to the hawker center for dinner. So hawker center, for some of you that may not know, it's a eating place in Malaysia. So it's like along the street. It's, I wouldn't consider them as restaurant, but
Is
it's
it
a
like a
cheaper eating place
food
by the
court
streets.
style,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So while I was wearing that bright blue uniform, I was unwilling to get down from the car because I'm afraid that wearing that pinafore will make me be the center of attraction in the hawker center. And this is actually a fear of judgment. I'm afraid because I wear something that is different from others. I was also afraid to order my own food because I was too shy and very, soft spoken. So it was that bad during that time. So I wanted people that has this same fear, the fear of speaking up, or fear to afraid to be very different from others, to be more confident in themselves. That's why I started this YouTube journey and has been actively inviting different guest speakers to share on their personal growth journey on my podcast. So no matter if they just moved to a new country, or they are just being positive and bubbly in front of everyone, or their journey of building their own business, all of this needs confidence.
Yeah. I think starting a YouTube channel and a podcast definitely requires confidence as well. And it's definitely not easy task. It I think it takes courage for you to record yourself, put yourself out there and sharing your thoughts publicly to strangers. And I think also sharing it to the people who know you, like your colleagues, family members, old friends. And I remember when TikTok just came out, some people refused to join into the trends, like maybe some simple videos like dancing. Some people found, like doing this kind of thing, recording yourself is cringy or embarrassing. And you even upload it, like yourself in it to share to some random people. But some people, I think they just feel too self-conscious about themselves as well. Did you ever feel like that? Like, how did you overcome that feeling? How do you handle maybe, like as you mentioned before, judgment or perceptions from other people as well?
Well, I guess at first I was also quite afraid and conscious about myself and what I have to, post online publicly, like everyone, like literally everyone can see them. And I am really thankful that I have a coach and a group of cohorts that are on this journey with me together. So my coach once said, why do you care of what other people think about what you post? You are not doing anything illegal. Just be genuine and post what you have to share or what you have to offer. So it's just
Yeah.
that simple.
Well, your coach is definitely right. I believe 100% that behind that courage, you also have to put so much effort and disciplines to be consistent in doing this. From brainstorming the ideas, preparing questions, you have to kind of like record, you have to talk, you have to edit the video, and so many more other steps. What are the steps and I guess the hard work behind every episode and every videos that you share to the world?
Yeah. I think I really put in a lot of effort and thoughts behind all the videos and episodes that I have shared so far. Every one of them tries to deliver a message. In order to post a video, I have to start by brainstorming what kind of topic I want to talk about. So, for example, the tips to build confidence, or maybe some topic about embracing uncertainty, overcoming self doubt, and something like that. So I have to then record the video. So in the beginning, it took me like an hour to record a 3-minute video. So I was not familiar with the process, and I
Yeah.
can't memorize my what I should say and things like that. So it took me like 1 hour for just a mere 3 minutes video.
Yeah.
Um, that's also because I was so self-conscious about the way I talk in front of camera and my voice and my gestures, so I keep redoing them. But after constantly doing them, I started to find my own style, my way of talking, and be more comfortable about it. So after recording, I will have to then edit the video and then add in the captions and make sure that all the wordings are spelled correctly. Then prepare a thumbnail for the video, which is what you'll see on YouTube, the thumbnail. And so this is the entire process of posting just one video on YouTube.
Wow.
Whereas for the podcast,
Oh.
yeah, whereas for podcast, I will have to then, contact who are the guest speakers that I want to have them to come on board, liaise with them to see what topic they want to talk about, their timing, and then prepare questions and then do the official recording. So there were times where the audio of the recording did not turn out great, and then I have to spend that extra hours to edit the audio.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. And then after that, I just have to prepare the thumbnail and then the title and description for the episode itself.
There's so many things that you have to prepare to produce just like one video or an episode. Have you ever felt tired or discouraged? Maybe you felt a little bit down, lost while you're on this journey for your YouTube and podcast?
Yeah, definitely. Because I guess the purpose of sharing videos on YouTube and on podcasts is to hopefully to let people see them. But there are times where the views are only on a single digit, where it can be very discouraging because it's like I spend so much time and effort, doing this video, but only
Yeah.
maybe 5 people see them, and
Yeah.
they might not even complete the entire video.
Mm.
But I always remind myself like why I first started this journey and what I wanted to achieve as an end goal. And then holding on to this thought really kept me going. When I felt tired, I will always tell myself that it's okay to take a break. So if you ever see me posting lesser videos, that is because I'm feeling tired and listening to my body and taking a break whenever I need to.
Well, that's good to hear that you still take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Since I moved away from Sydney, I haven't been by your side, at least physically, to support you. And honestly, I feel really sorry about that. But I can see that this year has been a year of learning for you. You know, you've grown so much. You've had like really big milestones in your work life and also personal life too. And you are now even helping people to become better version of themselves.
Yeah, that's totally true. Because I have recently created this program called Awesome You Project, which is a 12-week confidence building program that helps individuals to understand themselves better, get to know their strength, and then break down into different kinds of fears that they might have faced along with some communication tips that will help to greatly improve their confidence.
Actually, I'm also part of Estee's Awesome You project.
Yes.
Um, Maybe you've seen a little bit of this, but she started like a 4-week beta program for it. And I signed up to be one of the mentees, to be one of her students.
Yeah.
So she's been my coach for the past 4 weeks. And I think, honestly, it's an amazing program for anyone that's looking to grow and become the best version of yourself. She made us, me and like the other students, to dive deep into ourselves, reflect on our personalities, and even, like think about our current life, our past, and even our future throughout these 4 weeks. And what I really like about this program is how she breaks everything down into easy steps that everyone can follow. So every week we focus on one topic, and she makes it easy for us to understand, and she gives simple real life advice to help people from doubting themselves. And she made us stay focused and handle tough emotions. We think about it, and then we have to kind of like change it. And then also, maybe one more point that I like is not only you make us reflect, but you help us reframe our mindsets on how to face our emotions, our past, and all these things.
I
And
think
so,
that
yeah,
is
if huh?
Yeah, I think that is really important that we are always constantly, surrounded by negativity, but it's good that we always, try to lift ourselves up, reframe them, and, inject more positivity into our lives.
Yeah. So, everyone, if you're ready to improve your life and feel more confident, I highly recommend joining the full program. So, it's a 12-week program, and it's a great way to start your journey to become your best self. Well, if you're curious or if you have any questions, Estee is just right here. Feel free to message her directly, or you can also comment on her videos. I think she's really fast with replying. Okay. Now, on to the last part of our talk today. Since 2025 is just around the corner and your birthday is just here, is there anything that you're excited about or you're looking forward to? Maybe your plans for the end of year and maybe your goals for 2025?
Yeah. So this week, I mean this year, this year will be this year will be ending in 2 weeks' time. So I'm actually taking the opportunity to spend some time with my parents. We'll be celebrating my 30th birthday in Bali
Mhm.
and spend the remaining days back in my hometown in Malaysia to visit some of my friends and other family members as well. And as for 2025, I'm actually looking forward to taking up Toastmaster. But just to let you all know, Toastmasters is an organization that helps people to develop their communication, leadership, and public speaking skills and continue to build a stronger foundation for you to speak in front of people. And hopefully, this can help people to boost their confidence more.
Yeah. Well, I'm very happy that this year you will end the year happily. And I'm also excited for your New Year's plan. I hope from this year and on, you will only have all the good things that you deserve in your life. Well, thank you so much, everyone who has watched this video or listened to this podcast. So, I came up with this special episode to introduce you all properly to my best friend, ST, who has been working so hard and, she's been enjoying her life tirelessly, and she deserves an entire episode dedicated to her. Thank you so much for having me, and I will see you all listeners on the next occasion. So don't forget to wish ST a happy birthday on the 19th of December. And that was me, that was Yvonne, and also ST. Today I'll be doing the ending credit as well for her. Keep glowing, keep shimmering, keep watching ST's videos for some confidence boost, keeping unshakable, and Merry Christmas, everyone! And also, Happy New Year!
Thanks for tuning in the Unshakable Growth. Stay unshakable, and I'll catch you in the next episode.